Welcome to another episode of Friday Reads. Last week I was talking about Lonesome Dove and A Desolation Called Peace. Finished both of those since then. I'll talk a bit about Lonesome Dove, but A Desolation Called Peace, I'm going to film its own review. But rest assured, I loved it. It was great. Lonesome Dove, it took me a month and a half to listen to an audiobook. And yes, it's a long audiobook, but that's like, obviously I was not prioritizing it because I don't think I was really enjoying my reading experience. It's objectively a very good book. I don't dislike anything in particular other than I think it was bloated. I think it was too long for what it was. I didn't really care about the plot, and I didn't love a lot of the characters, and the characters that I did like I thought were done real dirty. It was kind of just punishing. It was a very punishing, long read that I wasn't really connecting to on any level. So for me, it was just, I think I know what I want to rate it, and I'll have more thoughts compiled by the end of the month for the wrap-up, but like, I finished it, so there's that. And like I said, I finished A Desolation Called Peace, and I loved it. I have all my notes written down for that review, and it was so fun to buddy read. I really think that that's like a duology that if you can find someone to read it with, it just enhances the experience. Like, I didn't have anyone to read A Memory Called Empire with, but having someone to read A Desolation Called Peace with was so much fun. We kept being like, oh, what's gonna happen next? I don't know. Oh, I hope that happens. Or, it could go this way. And we were largely not right, but it was really fun to try and parse it out. And I don't know, it kind of helps you keep going. Like, it's a very well-paced book, but like when you're buddy reading, you're like, oh, I gotta catch up to that person so we can talk about it. It was really fun. And I've also finished A Dead Djinn in Cairo by P. Djeli Clark, and this was my second read of it because I read it in the summer, I think, and I was kind of feeling slumpy then, so I wondered if my first read impressions were like off, but I largely have the same thoughts I did last time, and I think my issue is that it's too short for, I think, the type of story it is for me. I'm not a big detective story person to begin with, and that's what A Dead Djinn in Cairo is. You meet Fatma, and she has to solve the crime of this dead djinn. And the setting is spectacular. The world is so cool, and I'm excited to explore it more, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But just to have 40 pages to have what happened to Fatma happen was so fast. I had so much like whiplash almost. I was just like, oh, we're going here now, and we're going here now, and now this is happening. And although that should have felt fast-paced, for me, I actually felt like it was too long because I also normally, when I have a detective story, I need either like a really good B plot or like character development and interactions to like help me be invested, because normally I don't actually care that much about the mystery being solved. I want to explore the world with the detective, or I want to be in their head and get to know their life, and you just can't do that in 40 pages. So I think that was my issue. This felt like a really good pilot for like a TV show, but you can tell that the TV show hasn't gotten its like legs yet, that it's not the show that it'll end up being. And I'll just dovetail this into my commute read. I have been reading The Haunting of Tramcard 015. And this one's an actual novella. It's like 140 some pages. And I'm already further into it than there is pages in A Dead Djinn in Cairo. And I'm already liking it so much more. And I think part of that is that it's longer. And so I get to spend more time in this world that is so cool. This world is 1920s alternative history where someone had opened up basically a portal so that jinn and other magical creatures could interact with our world. And that changes the course of history, and it makes Cairo kind of the center of the world. So not only does that it's just really cool, to think of alternative history, I just like that, but also the different magical beings are so cool. I love jinn, especially from the Davabad trilogy. It's just really cool having those type of characters around, that type of mythology in there. So I really like the setting, and I'm really excited that in this novella we're getting to dig into it more. And it's a different it's a different detective and sidekick, and I like their chemistry a lot more than the sidekick Fatma kind of had in A Dead Djinn in Cairo. And I know she's the main character in the novel that's coming out, and I have a arc of that, like I talked about in my anticipated releases video. So I've been reading these in preparations to read that novel, and I really do like his writing style, and I really do love this world. So I'm glad I'm getting a little more space to enjoy it, because my instinct is not to really like detective stories that often. I don't know, I just don't always connect with them like I like to. But I'm feeling pretty hopeful now that I've like actually read like 50 pages of Haunting of Tramcar, and I'm like, this is way more interesting to me. I'm way more excited about this predicament. Because the other one was just so fast. Like, but also like I felt like it took me forever to read. It was really weird. And I read a lot of short stories, and so I don't know, it was weird that it didn't work for me, but I just don't think that was the appropriate length for the story being told for my personal enjoyment. Alright, so I finished Lonesome Dove, and then I needed to start a new audiobook, so I picked up Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan, the Fifth Wheel of Time book. And if you've been here for a while, I read the fourth book back in November. I actually have a vlog where I talk a lot about some of my issues with Wheel of Time up to this point, in that book in particular, and since then I decided I'm going to audiobook this series to try and increase my connection to the characters, because that's something I've been lacking, and to also help me through the insanely descriptive scenes. And they're descriptive not in a way that helps me visualize it or feel the atmosphere. It's just like a brain connection thing. Like, it's not that he's doing it wrong or poorly, but the way he's doing it does not communicate to me in a fun way. And these are definitely books that are meant to be fun. And so I just started it this week, and I'm actually this far in, which is like apparently 192 pages in this mass market paperback, and I'm having a really fun time. So I think part of that is the audiobooks are helping me get through those descriptive scenes. I can kind of like wait like 20 seconds and then I'm back into the thing I care about. And I've been doing okay keeping track of the characters and places, at least to the extent that I normally do when I'm physically reading. And so I'm having a good time. Now, maybe it's the book, maybe the content is just more interesting, but I do think I'm actually like connecting better to the characters, or at least I'm caring more, and I'm having fun, so I'm not overthinking it. I still have some issues with things in the series, like, I don't know, I can't figure out if it's just like a culture thing and I just don't get it, but like there are a bunch of people from the Two Rivers, I'm pretty sure that's what they're called, but that there are main characters you meet in Eye of the World, and they are all absurdly judgmental, and if you weren't told that they like grew up together and were friends, you wouldn't like know that. And I'm just like, why are you guys like this? Shouldn't you be in each other's corners? Like, I just can't relate to how these people think about each other sometimes. But other than that, so far I'm having a lot more fun. There was a really cool thing introduced about the magic system. It was really cool. So I'm hoping more things like that happen, and I think for sure this is how I am finishing out the series if it keeps going. I'm able to retain enough information to have fun, and that's the goal, I assume, of this fantasy series, is to have fun. I'm having a good time with it. The other book that I'm reading, because I needed a physical read at home, well, need is a strong word, but this is actually what I picked up this weekend, and that's Storm of Locusts. Finally reading that, about halfway through. So this is the sequel to Trail of Lightning. We follow Maggie, I'm pretty sure. This is Maggie on the cover. This cover is actually really cool. I think I know what scene it's going to be, and I'm pretty pumped. But Maggie lives in a future post-apocalyptic world where there was this great flood and it wiped out everything but the Denata land, some of the parts of Utah, that area of the United States. And at the same time, kind of like gods, like creatures and like magic and monsters come back to the land. And so she has clan powers. Her powers are being really fast and being really good at killing things, and it kind of makes her a little bit scarred, but also to get your powers, you kind of have to go through trauma. And so she doesn't really like herself, and she doesn't let herself have friends, and it's like my favorite type of monster hunter. And I've been liking this book, but I think a large part of why I like Trail of Lightning is over here, is that there's this character who's in the first book, and he's not been as prevalent in this one. And so I need that type of balance, and so far I haven't really had it, although this character here is providing a balance for me, but it's taken about like a third of the book for me to get there. So it's really fast-paced, it's really fun. I don't really have like a lot to say, it's just like a pleasurable experience, but also nothing that's like blowing me away. I'm just having a good time, which honestly, I've read a lot of like thinkier things like A Desolation Called Peace, so to just have this like adventurous post-apocalyptic monster hunter story has been pretty fun. I also just got back from a little trip I did to the library and the bookstore just because it was sunny out and I wanted to, and so these were both on my TBR, but I just got them from the library. So I got The Prey of Gods. Been wanting to read this for a while. I like that it's like a reasonable size. I feel like that's how I am lately. It's like I read so many tomes. I just need like a good sized book, which I'm hoping to read soon. I need to check in with Laura to see if she still wants to buddy read this, but this is on the TBR. And another one, and this is going to whitewash the screen, but this is The Best of All Possible Worlds by Karen Lord. And I'm probably actually maybe picking this one up next. I think I want to have another sci-fi, and I haven't read Karen Lord in a long time. And I don't really know what this one's like about. Oh, this is the debut novel, so I'm going to read her debut. This is exciting. So, but like you just have this face and this elephant, and I don't really know what's going to happen. There's another face, it's a different face, and a little hummingbird. So I don't really know. And while my library is really close to my local bookstore, and I have like so much store credit right now, and you guys know I loved The Mask of Mirrors. And so I saw this on the shelf, and it's like a good flop. Like, look at that. That was such a good flop. And I want to reread it before the next book comes out, whenever that is, hopefully soon. And it had a good spine. I'm very picky about paperbacks. Like, I don't mind them, but if I want to collect them for my shelves, I need them to look pristine. Like, I can mess them up, but I want them to come at a certain level. So I'm excited that I got this. It's a chonker. It did not feel this long. Also, the font's pretty big, but that was just like a mini library and book haul. I controlled myself. I didn't buy too many books. And yeah, so my goals: finish Storm of Locusts. That's for sure something I want to do. Finish Haunting of Tramcar. I think I'll be able to finish that. Like, I record these on Wednesday, so by the time you're seeing this, I'm pretty sure I've finished it. So then I want to finish Storm of Locusts. And the next book I think I'm going to pick out is The Best of All Possible Worlds. I think that's possibly one, and maybe Winter of the Witch. It's getting cold again, so I might just take that one off the shelf because that's also on the TBR for the month. What are you reading this weekend? Or are you watching a cool movie or playing a board game? I am hoping to get my roommates to play board games with me this weekend. I don't know what game. Maybe we'll play Dune again. Maybe they'll want to learn a new game. I don't know, but I'm hoping because I miss playing games. I'm going through like withdrawal. But other than that, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.